Hey friends, welcome back to Macabrathon. Today I just wanted to go through some weird and interesting incidents in the analog broadcasting world. I'll try to get a good mix of different types, and I can guarantee you haven't heard of all of these. Anyway, let's not waste any time. Just grab a coffee, sit back, and enjoy. This first case is extremely well known, so I'd just like to get it out of the way early. On November 22nd, 1987, two hijackings occurred back-to-back from the same suspects. The first took place at 9:14 p.m. on Chicago's WGN TV. The second being at 11:20 p.m. on WTTW. Both featured a downright creepy scene of a man dressed up like the computer-generated personality, Max Headroom, along with what appeared to be a rotating plate of metal to recreate the background graphics from Max Headroom's show. During the first interruption, there was no sound, but the second was both significantly longer and featured audio. The man rambled incoherently about WGN TV's Chuck Swirsky, reciting a Coca-Cola ad, and humming the Clutch Cargo theme.
Chuck Swirsky, working my Jesus. What's the wave?
He also exposed his rear to the camera, but I probably shouldn't show that just in case. This case has been extremely popular for decades, because no one was ever charged with the hijacking. Pulling off a stunt like this required very knowledgeable people being very close to the physical broadcast towers. Enough time has passed where it's more likely than not that we'll never get a definitive answer. But honestly, I think it's better this way. Switching over to the world of radio, this allegedly originates from New York City in 1995, featuring a terrifying screaming or screeching noise followed by a voice reciting obituaries. It's one of the freakiest clips of audios I've ever heard, but it's probably fake. I couldn't find any mention of a hijacking of the station prior to someone on 4chan's export sharing supposed audio from it, but it also could have been done intentionally since this is a college radio station. That doesn't take too much away from it though, since regardless, the creator did an awesome job with it. And hey, it could be real, it's just unlikely. Take a listen.
Son of Johnson and Mel, brother Captain Chris, at the front of the December 21st, 1988, Barry Valentino, son of Barry Sr. G, brother Scott, Mark and Lisa Ann's friend, my friend. February 1985, Frank Oppenheimer, brother Robert, husband of Jackie and Emily, father of Michael, our friend. In 1987, Henrietta Graham, mother of Ian and Ralph Sally, my friend. November 21st, 1988, Barry Valentino, son of Barry Sr. G, brother Scott, Mark and Lisa Ann's friend. February 1985, Frank Oppenheimer, brother Robert, husband of Jackie and Emily, father of Michael. May 1987, Henrietta Graham, mother of Ian.
Keeping it in the 90s, we move on to Art Bell's radio show, Coast to Coast, on September 11th, 1997. For the people who aren't familiar, this was a radio show where Art Bell regularly discussed the occult and paranormal, and often allowed viewer call-ins, allowing them to share stories or experiences, like in the yearly Ghost to Ghost Halloween special. In the specific show on September 11th, the focus was going to be Area 51, A little bit past halfway through the broadcast, someone called in, sounding unusually frantic and out of breath. They explained they were a previous employee at Area 51, and through a fearful and quivering voice, they relay to Art what they know about these extra-dimensional beings. At this point, you're probably wondering what this has to do with broadcast interruptions, and shh, don't worry, we're getting there. After sharing that the government was purposefully keeping information from the public, which would lead to countless preventable deaths, the signal begins to drop in and out. It becomes difficult to hear exactly what is being said, until it becomes entirely impossible, as the entire broadcast itself is taken down. They returned shortly after on a backup system, and explained that due to a major transmit failure, everything went down as they were on call with the supposed ex-Area 51 employee. Super weird stuff. Although someone claiming to be the same caller did call back a couple of years later, and they claimed it was a prank. But even if they were telling the truth there, the total failure of the broadcast raises a lot of questions if you're the conspiratorial type. And at least to my ears, the caller sounds fairly genuine. Take a listen and judge it for yourself.
Online, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time. A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago. Okay, what we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out. Oh.
Discharge.
I started getting...
In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
It's the government, or...
I don't know. You really missed a call then, and I've got a feeling somebody didn't want you to hear it.
Now, something a bit different. Now that we've covered a few of the most popular broadcast interruptions, I'd like to cover a part of this world that is arguably even more mysterious. With the help of my friend Marco, we've gathered a few unidentified radio signals that are super spooky. I'd like to save the more popular examples for a video that would allow me to take a deeper dive and offer more in-depth explanations. But here are a few that we've captured locally. 158.641. This was captured in June of 2022, and I honestly don't know how well the audio will translate to video. It features strange beeps that are located in a deep sub-bass frequency. As you can see in a comparison to another signal I have here, it's significantly more concentrated in this area, which I personally have never heard conveyed this clearly over the radio. The most likely culprits for signals like this would probably be marine technology, or something similar, but it's anybody's guess. Again, it's very bassy, so be warned, but take a listen. .998. I'm a big fan of signals like this one here. Also captured in June of 2022, it heavily reminds me of those old sounds that we generated from space. Reminiscent of a deep sea microphone with a very subtle beep noise or something. It's actually way more calming than every other signal here, unless you're afraid of the ocean. Again, I think the most likely culprit would be some kind of underwater microphone. take a listen. .078. This one is short, but just as puzzling as the others. It's a simple signal featuring 3 tones, seemingly starting to repeat, then immediately cutting. I'm a bit at a loss with this one, but if I had to hazard a guess, I would assume it's used by emergency services for some kind of alert. Please let me know in the comments if you have any guesses. I'd love to hear some more ideas. It's very short, so I'm going to actually play it twice. Let's take a listen. This kind of stuff is some of my favorite to look into, and I hope I did an alright job covering some of those more legendary broadcast interruptions. Let me know if I missed anything cool. I'll be sure to cover it in the inevitable follow-up I make to this video. But that's all for tonight, folks. Good night.